This is how you can bounce back from things without quitting. So I used to treat every setback like proof that something wasn't meant for me, and it kept me stuck for a long time. But when I finally changed how I handled setbacks, I stopped quitting every time that something got complicated and started finishing the thing I set out to do. And if this is something you want to explore further, you can subscribe to my Substack newsletter where I go into more detail. So, the first thing you can do is break the setback down. If you're neurodivergent or you struggle with executive dysfunction, it's so easy to catastrophize and assume that any sort of setback means that everything's hopeless and then you just quit. So instead of making huge decisions based on your immediate reaction, just try to pause and get specific. So you can think about what actually happened and what the setback actually means. Is there a solution or a way to simplify the setback? A lot of times, setbacks can feel so much bigger than they are because we don't really break them down clearly and get a full idea of what's actually happening. The next thing is to create a simple plan to address the setback. It's extremely important to understand that setbacks are part of pretty much any meaningful goal. So instead of trying to avoid them, you should really just expect and accept them. Once you do this, you can sort of decide what your next move is when you experience a setback instead of just quitting when something goes sideways. Just make a simple, clear plan with small steps to address the setback. Be aware of all or nothing thinking. So, as you probably already know, those of us who are neurodivergent or struggle with executive dysfunction can often deal with just this all or nothing thinking. We might tell ourselves that if we fell behind, then we simply failed. And if something's not perfect, we have to start the whole thing over. Or if something doesn't go as planned, it's just not going to work. It's never going to work, and we should just give up. We just don't really do well with things not going as planned. And it's really scary for us. But to be honest, progress is rarely a straight line, and disruption is a normal part of life. So when you notice yourself blowing the setback out of proportion, just try to slow down and challenge those thoughts. And I'm not saying you have to block the thoughts, it's just you might want to reconsider the meaning that you get from them. One obstacle doesn't have to erase all of your effort. You can also adjust the goal. You really don't have to abandon a goal just because something changed. You can do things like extend the timeline, come up with steps to address the obstacle and add it to your bigger plan, or you can just adjust the goal.